A sensational Saturday is in the books here at Pocono Raceway. We got post-practice and qualifying notes, interviews, and some potential best bets coming your way next, right here on the back road.
What's up, everybody? We are back again, the NASCAR Cup Series back in Pennsylvania for the Great American Getaway 400. It's the great IBT giveaway for us. Happy to be back at the track with you, Elliot Hicks and Seth Woolcock, to break down everything from practice and qualifying that took place today at the Tricky Triangle. No surprise, the pole winner, Denny Hamlin, one of the last two drivers out, gets it done, runs the fast lap of the day. The Minions may be on board with that King's Hawaiian car. Definitely added a few extra miles per hour to that 11 today.
It certainly did. You were all on the Minions car lift here on the Thursday night episode of the Back Road. I was a little more hesitant, but I did, quote me. I said, if I'm going to bet Denny Hamlin this weekend straight, I'm probably doing it in practice and qualifying. And he said he didn't even like the jump he got off on there on that lap, but he still was able to lay it down. This team is on fire right now. They're clicking on all cylinders. I don't think there's been a better Denny Hamlin that we've ever seen in the NASCAR Cup Series. So good vibes all around. And we expected Toyota to be fast overall today, Elliot, and they seem to have that speed in both practice and qualies.
Yeah, hey, enjoy that plus 130 you're going to get tomorrow morning on Denny while I take my 3-1 all the way to the bank and see what happens. Tyler Reddick, one of the other favorites, like you said, Toyota, really fast. We'll talk more about some of the other Toyota drivers shortly. Tyler Reddick, though, rough start to his lap, ended up qualifying P16. He was outran by Austin Hill and Cole Custer. Good efforts for them. Not so good for Reddick, but when the last two races we've seen a strong Toyota go all the way to the back, make it all the way to the front and win. I'm still confident in Tyler Reddick if he thinks his car is solid, and it was just a little blip in that quali lap that hurt.
I am too, and I actually think this might open up some value for us post-practice and qualifying. That I'm already down on that top five. I got a little parlay with the Denny Hamlin outright as well there for T. Reddick. Look what he was doing in that practice. He was in the A group, Elliot, so it was harder to lay down fast laps because the rubber was not laid down on the track yet. He was still by far the fastest in that group and just didn't get the qualifying lap he wanted. That happens sometimes. But still, I think vibes are high for Tyler Reddick coming in today. Maybe not the ideal start, but if you're playing in some DFS lineups that are going to give you positional move-up value, I think there's still a good chance that Reddick will be in a lot of lineups tomorrow, and maybe it is the optimal lineup of the day.
So it was a Toyota on the pole, but the Spire Chevrolets are lightning fast once again. Michigan last week, a comp track, or at least somewhat of a comp track. We got Carson Hocevar's thoughts on Michigan and Pocono's comparisons.
Carson, we haven't been to a big flat track yet this season. Some people do loosely compare Michigan, though. Do you have any comparison between the two, and do you think you can continue to have top 10 speed translating into Pocono?
Yeah, I mean, we qualified third here last year, and we ran good, so I just hope that translates. I don't know if anything from Michigan translates, other than just maybe straightaway speed, hopefully. But, yeah, I mean, we've been able to, obviously we almost got the pole at Michigan, so hopefully that, translates, because obviously we qualified third, and, starting up front here is pretty important with how difficult it is to pass.
Plenty of speed in practice for Carson Hocevar, but the Tricky Triangle bit a couple of guys in qualifying today. Hocevar nearly spins it out on his qualifying lap. We also saw Bubba Wallace shortly after lose control, put it in the fence, had to make some repairs to that car in the garage throughout the evening on Saturday. But back to Spire, Hocevar, decent speed. Daniel Suarez, unbelievable speed. Qualifies P3. They have been unloading lightning fast, and Suarez talked about how he and the team are kind of able to pull that off.
Daniel, not only have your average finishes been great over the past 6 or 8 weeks, but also the average starting position. You've unloaded quickly almost every single week. What has been the difference in that span that you're getting out of the truck so quickly?
The team is doing a good job. I believe that the team is doing a good job during the week. The work that we're doing in the simulator, the work that my team is doing, my engineers are doing in the simulation, all that is working. So the process that we have so far of building our car and showing up to the racetrack is working. So super proud of the team. Definitely they are putting us in a very good position. And like I said several times, if you start the weekend off, you're going to be the entire weekend a little bit off. Mm-hmm. So starting with the right foot is extremely important.
When you qualify well, does it kind of open up the playbook for different strategy calls like we saw earlier this year when you got that win?
Yeah, of course. You have to be in the top 10, inside the top 10 to be able to put yourself in position. If you are outside the top 10, you're not going to be able to put yourself in this situation. The same thing here. Like if you're outside the top 10, you cannot pit without losing a lap in the green cycle. So yeah, you have to be in the fight to be able to put yourself in contention.
All right, man. I know we have both been really high on Suarez. You've got a bet on him this weekend that looks even better now after a great qualifying effort from the 17.
Yeah, plus 350 on the top 10. That's kind of what we're rolling with right now into Sunday, and it's a great number to be on right now. I still think maybe there's some opportunity to get invested with him again in some head-to-heads out there, so I'm keeping an eye out there. But really, what I like from Suarez is not only the speed he's showing in the car, the confidence he seems to have when we were talking to him, and the whole vibe around Spire right now, Elliot. I was camped out near their pit box primarily throughout qualifying and practice because I was really, heavily invested in Suarez. And this team right now, everyone's laughing, everyone's joking around, everyone's jubilant right now, and the fans love it too. It feels, we had the conversation with a gentleman yesterday calling him Husqvarna, and just there's Carson Hocevar fans left and right. I heard a lot of people talking to him about what that means to him, and I think it means a lot to him. And hey, man, I got to, put a little egg on my face. Daniel Suarez, I said maybe you should take a step back, go back to the O'Reilly Series. He's been anything but an O'Reilly Series driver this year with how he's just performing at the Cup level. He was great earlier this year to be betting in that top 20 market. Now we've moved that up to top 10s, and maybe even a top 5 tomorrow could be live as well. We'll see what he opens back up in the outright. He was 75-1, left out there hanging DraftKings pre-practice and qualifying. We're not going to see that again, Elliot. What would be the number, though, you would need to see to maybe get invested in Mi Amigo outright, if there is one?
Man, 75-1 is pretty nice. maybe like a 50, maybe a little less. Yeah. But it's one of those where it's tough because, he won the Coke 600 and he earned it, even though they ran 20 less laps than they could have if the weather was bad. But with Suarez, man, we talked about how Denny Hamlin is the best he's ever been. Safe to say Suarez also the best he's ever been too. And like you said, vibes are high all around Spire. Even Michael McDowell liked his car this weekend. He'll start P13. But the vibes are arguably just as high over at the Legacy Motor Club. Jimmy Johnson and his 27 celebrity investors over there, they're having a great time. They have great speed, and it showed again today. I got in on both of their top 10s. That was one of my favorite bets of the week. The 43 is starting P7, and the 42 is starting P8. I know you were maybe looking to see where they qualified, and if there was some more value there, with those qualifying efforts, Seth, it's going to be tough to find.
Yeah, we'll see. FanDuel's still notorious for leaving JHN out. We got him 8-1 post-practice and qualifying last year for a top 10. I'll be finding a way to get invested with these guys as we're hearing the fireworks going off. They know what's going on over there at Legacy right now, but it's great to see. You actually sat down and got a question in with Erik Jones earlier if you want to check out that as well.
Elliot Hicks with In Between Media and FSAN. Erik, just generally on the vibe around Legacy in general, 27 different celebrity investors coming in. You're going to run the third charter next year. The team's running well, as we've talked about. How good are the vibes in the club right now, man?
Yeah, it's great. Unfortunately, I haven't been around the shop much just because I was in Michigan, and then I went and stayed up there, ran a late model race, and this week I'm going to be busy traveling around early for San Diego. I'm hoping to get up there Monday as long as Sunday here goes off on time with the weather. So, other than that, though, with the 43 group, obviously we're feeling really good. The 42 group, I think, is on the up and up. I know their results haven't shown for them, but their speed's been there. Michigan, I felt like they were probably as good as us. They got caught in that restart wreck. So, yeah, everybody's really confident. I think at the end of the day, the message for me is that there's still a lot of work to do. I think as well as we're running is awesome, but there's so many little things I think we can still do better and optimize and improve on. There's still room for growth. And, we want to make sure that we're continuing down this path, that this isn't just a a quick flash in the pan here this last month or going forward as long as this lasts, that the speed is continued and we can keep this rolling for a long period.
Talking a lot about teams where vibes are high. Vibes are not so good right now for RFK Racing. With Chris Buescher, the best of the bunch, he's going to start P6. We talked to him about how he thinks the weekend's going to go, new tire and everything like that, before he went out on the track for P's and Q's.
Seth Woolcock, In Between Media. Chris, we have a new right side tire this weekend. Whether it's the feel from inside the car or strategy, do you expect that to impact the race at all this year?
I don't have a good answer for you yet. We don't believe it to be a massive change. We've had a lot of little tweaks through the year on the tire front that we've showed at the racetracks, and they've changed the balance a little bit to seems like mostly to the freer side. Nothing crazy. It doesn't seem like we've had any major shifts from a durability or wear side of things. So no, I don't predict it to be anything major for today, but I've certainly been made to look like an idiot very quickly after having some of those comments at times. So I'll have a better answer for you after qualifying and we get through today. But I'd say that I wouldn't plan on it being a massive shift from last year's race on that front.
So it turned out all right for Buescher, like I said, starting P6, but Brad Keselowski was not able to finish a decent qualifying lap. Definitely didn't have all 8 cylinders, some sort of engine issue there. And it kind of was the same with Ryan Preece, too, who's also starting near the back. And, man, Preece was not happy when we asked him about it.
To say the least.
Ryan, how was the car out there today, and how was the speed for the team overall?
I think we have a problem right now. I think we're having the same problem as what the 6 was having, so not really sure. Kind of trying to wait to find out.
Okay. Anything new with the right side tire? Chris said earlier he didn't expect it to impact anything out there. Did you feel anything different?
To be honest with you, I think I was fighting this problem all of practice, so it's hard for me to give a real true answer on that.
What's the next 24 hours look like for the team?
It's a great question. Hopefully something we can change.
So we thought RFK would be a sleeper pick coming into the weekend, but this was not the Saturday that they needed to see.
No, it certainly wasn't. I was talking to some people in the IBT Racing family over the weekend, and I was hearing some Brad K top 10 sprinkles. I was hearing, hey, let's get invested in that outright as well. I was a little more hesitant on Brad K. He still came in top 15 in the projections. We had Buescher well inside the top 5 as well, a guy who's won here. He reflected kindly on that fog out win a few years ago, even despite losing a race to fog here in the ARCA series many years ago as well. So the thing I like about this, though, Elliot, and I think the one solace we can take in this is I like that fire from Ryan Preece. I like him being peeved off after the fact because that shows they care, and that shows that, hey, we need to be in the best position possible heading into this chase because we're not going to win the championship coming in at P16. We need to be in that top 12. We need to be in that top 8. So at least you can take some of that for whatever you will. Are you betting on Chris Buescher tomorrow? I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can stomach it with this potential issue lingering around. Yourself, what would you need to see out there to get invested with the Bushwhacker?
So I've already got a Buescher top 5 and a top 10 down.
Okay.
I remember I said I thought that the top 5 was maybe a little optimistic, but the top 10 I thought was a near certainty. He was the one who had the speed, so hopefully whatever's in the 17 is not entirely the same as what's in the 6 and 60 and causing all those gremlins. It worked for a qualifying lap, worked in practice, I guess, so we'll see what happens with RFK. Sticking in the Ford camp, Front Row Motorsports, we talked to a few of those guys as well, starting with their best guy right now, and maybe the best, most consistent, highest ceiling Ford right now is Zane Smith. The 38 car has been on fire lately, and he's really been enjoying himself on the track.
How was the car out there today, Zane, and anything you can take away that you're hoping to improve overnight?
Yeah, our car this weekend was really good. So far, we had a great practice and then a great qualifying for having to go out, I think, 4th or something. So always enjoy my time here in Pocono, and it's going to be a lot of strategy tomorrow, a lot of unknowns, but at the same time, we're going to be racing right around this same time with the move-up time of the race, and so I felt like we learned a lot today, and yeah, it makes me excited for tomorrow.
So Zane Smith starting P18. Todd Gilliland, we also chatted with him a bit too. He was on a pretty good run here a couple of years ago coming into the Pocono weekend. hasn't quite been the same, and they're starting 29th this weekend.
Todd, how was the car feeling out there in practice, and were you satisfied with the qualifying run?
I think the car was definitely better than I was in qualifying, and it's just we're really working on our intermediate qualifying practices, kind of the whole process, right? It takes everything. You have to unload fast to really work up to it really quickly, and obviously qualifying is one lap, and you got to go get it all. So it's interesting for sure, but I feel like overall we can work with where we are starting.
Did the new right side tire affect anything out there today?
Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell as a driver. I think the biggest place I actually feel like a tire difference or construction difference is like when you slide the car, like it feels a little bit different. I don't know that I've had really any big slides today, so it's gonna be interesting. It honestly feels pretty similar to me of Pocono of the last few years.
Without giving away too much, likely starting outside the top 10 here already, it's looking like. Is there anything in the playbook to maybe steal some track position later in the race?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything necessarily like on my mind right now, but I think a lot of it is track position and cautions. Cautions can really throw a big wrench in everything. So you got to the crew chiefs, engineers have to be on top of their game every single lap. Know what they're going to do if a caution comes out. We've seen this place be a really big track position race. Once you make it up there, you can usually stay for a little bit. So that's top of our mind for sure.
All right, so kind of mixed feelings there from the FRM guys. Definitely moving in the right direction, but it's a tough world out there.
It absolutely is, and the difficult part about this is I don't really see from a betting perspective how to get invested with them right now. Zane Smith, if you want to take a long shot on a top 10, I think he's always at play there. I know you've hit some gainer top Fords on him already this season. I think that could be in play, especially with RFK's struggle. Team Penske had some speed today. But aside from that, there's really no value in betting these guys right now. Todd Gilliland potentially keeping that seat warm for right now. But at least like the spirits are high around that team. But I think really this team kind of fell off my betting card and really my entire perspective to consider gambling on them when we kind of heard of what they were dealing with during those trials in Charlotte, just from an equipment standpoint and a budgetary standpoint. So unfortunately, I can't really get invested here. But I do like the optimism that Zane Smith is bringing, and potentially someone as we get back on some road courses here soon as well that could be interesting.
All right, before we go join the party that's going on behind us here, we're going to circle back to Toyotas. And unfortunately, with Christopher Bell's wrist injury after Michigan, we may kind of have to fade him this week, Seth.
Yeah, Christopher Bell came into the media center earlier, talked about that he's pretty much driving this car for Joe Gibbs Racing one-handed, right? This is not the worst place to do that because you do have long stretches here in Pocono. This is a heavy braking track, though, at the same time. He said he's driven his street car, right, which could potentially be a pickup, could potentially be a Supra. I'm not really sure, but Chris Bell's ripping around the streets of Charlotte there, but regardless, he said it's fine in there. I will say, though, I think this is an opportunity next week when we get to a road course, matchups, not to finish top 10s on Kalshi and other prediction markets like Poly Market. That is where I think we go. Of course, he will. Of course, does have our guy Brandon Jones on standby as well if he does need to come out, but he has all the expectations of running all 400 miles tomorrow.
As strong as Bell is, you could tell that he was struggling. Joe Gibbs Racing in qualifying P1, P4, and P5 for the other three. See Bell starting P22 tomorrow. So definitely not a Bell at 100% and something we have to consider in our betting cards, which we are hoping tomorrow for the Great American Getaway 400 come to be very fruitful. Going to be a great day at Pocono. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go join that party now, and hopefully it's a great Saturday night for you all as well.